Okay, hello. Thank you for the introduction, and it's great to be back here at UKNOF. I think it's been a couple of years since I've presented. I think Andy might have done the last IXP Database update. But anyway, you got me today. So I'm going to talk about Euro-IX tools and the database. So how many people in here know who or what Euro-IX is? Oh, cool. So a few of you. Maybe I should go on to this slide first. So Euro-IX is a membership-based organization for internet exchange points. And then going back to this slide, we have 73 affiliated members, 54 from the Euro-IX region, and 19 from the rest of the world. We also have patrons, which is actually very similar to the UKNOF patron scheme that Dinesh was talking about earlier. And currently we have 9 of those. So if any of you are in the room, thank you for your continued support. What do? We have 2 meetings a year. We had our last one in Venice. And the next one is coming up in Toulouse, which will be hosted by TUIX and France IX, which are 2 are the French internet exchange points. We have a website, tools, and database, which is what I'm going to be talking about later on. We have different programs. As a membership organization, what we try and do is we help internet exchange points. And usually, internet exchange points that need any sort of help in growth or technical support, we have some programs that can help them out in specific things like a fellowship program, which enables them to come to the forums, and a Mentor IX program, which is kind of like a twinning program. So we match up internet exchange points that need specific support in specific topics, and then who with somebody that's kind of been there, done that, and then they can help each other. We have a newsletter, a monthly newsletter, so if you're interested to hear about what's going on in the IXP world, you can subscribe to that. And one of the big projects that we've been working on, and I'm trying to actually bring awareness about, is that we've put together a standard list for BGP large communities that is honoured by IXs on the root servers. So if you're looking to peer at IXs and you're looking to use communities, you don't need to put your own list together because we've already done it for you. So there is a GitHub page for that, and if you go to the Euro-IX GitHub page, you'll see a link there. But the communities are also available on the Euro-IX website over there. We also like to talk, so you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So that was just a quick update on what Euro-IX is and what we do, and now I'm going to talk about the main topic of the session, the IXP database and Euro-IX tools. So I think for the last 3 or 4 years, I've kind of come up here, or somebody has come up here from Euro-IX and talked about the database and the tools that we've been kind of dreaming about for years. And it's really, really exciting that finally I can stand up here and say, we've done it. So a little bit of history. The IXP database isn't something new. The Euro-IX database has been around since day 1 that Euro-IX was, so that we're talking 17 years now. It's gone through a few iterations, and we've finally released the latest version, and actually that was yesterday, so my presentation was a little bit delayed getting submitted, but it'll be worth it. So basically we wanted to move to grow the database. We wanted to bring in automation because this is where we're all kind of trying to get to. And in 2017 we contracted the work to CZ.NIC, which some of you may be familiar with because they write Bird, the routing software, and some other cool tools as well. So now I'm going to show you what we've actually been working on. So let me see if I can get the pointer to work. Is there a point? Aha. All right, so to access the database, you go to IXPDB.Euro-IX.net. You need to go to the main menu. We now have an IXP directory, an ASN directory, a root directory, and a switch directory. Now, the way that all this works is that we put together a template in JSON, which includes all the information about the Internet exchange point. So it includes things like the hardware, the locations, the IP addresses, MAC addresses. There's just a lot of information in there. So what we've done is, and that is exported directly from the IXP to the database. So there's no admins or anyone else editing that data. This data is coming straight from the IXPs. So here we have it. This is the IXP database. We have a search here. So you can search under the IXFID. This here is the IXFID, and that is the unique identifier for every single IX, hopefully on the planet, we will have in here at some point. You can do a search by the name, city, country, IX. You can put in anything in there. Only with API. So this is the cool thing. So like I said, we've got IXs. This is all automated data. Today we have 83 IXs that are currently automating this to us. So if you want to do a search specifically on and you're looking for the most up-to-date data, you can click that and you can see the data that's coming directly from the IXs. Oh, I didn't want to do that. You can also now search per region. So it's difficult to actually split up the world in different regions because there are some countries which may fall into different places. But what we've done is we've followed the IXF, which is very similar actually to the RIRs. And that is, so we have FIX, APIX, Euro-IX, LAC-IX, and North America. There's no association in North America yet, so we kind of just have North America as a standalone. You can actually sort by the city. So if you're looking for IXs in a particular city, you can use a sort there. You can sort by countries if you want to see how many IXs there are in a particular country. You can even sort by last updated. So you can see when the last update was done by the IX, so to make sure that you just have the most latest information. You can search by API, which is also that tick box there. And what we launched yesterday was Manners. So does everyone in here know what the Manners program is? Okay, so Manners is something that is, how am I going to describe this in a sentence? I can't. If you have a look at manners.org, that's probably the best thing to have a look at. But basically, IXs and ASNs are working towards better routing security. And what we do here is we actually showcase those IXs and ASNs, I'll show you in a second, that are manners compliant. So, which is a nice little bonus for people that are looking for that kind of information. You can also search by the number of ASs connected to the exchange. Then we have, here we have the ASN database. So just like the IXP database where you have the information on the IXPs, we have an ASN, sorry, it's directory, not database, where the ASNs are also published information. So we have again, you can search for the ASN or the network name. You can organize by ASN, organization, type. So if you're looking for a particular type of network to peer with, you can search under type as well. And then we have, again here, whether they are manners compliant and also the number of internet exchanges that they are connected to. If you want to have a look further into it, there's more information on the internet exchange points. So here you have the peering lands, the points of presence, and here the details actually go down to the port sizes as well. So if, for example, you're peering with multiple 10 gigs, the actual port size shows up. And we have the ASNs that are actually connected to that internet exchange here. And of course the traffic. So we now show pretty traffic graphs, and you can see that by day, week, month, year. What else is new? We've now launched, some of you may remember from the old Euro-IX website, we used to have a matrix. And the matrix basically had internet exchange points on the x-axis and internet exchange points on the y-axis, and you could actually look and see, compare information and details about those specific IXs that you want. We found that with the number of members that we've grown Euro-IX, and also the number of internet exchanges, it might be useful to try and do this in a different way. Many of you, I'm sure, are aware of the number of compare websites out there. So we've tried to follow that method, and what we have is you can actually now compare internet exchange points. So if you're looking to peer at an internet exchange point in a particular city, you can actually select all the exchange points in that particular city and see which one you want to connect to. So it might be something specific you're looking for, like particular ASNs, particular type of ASNs. You're looking for gaming providers, you're looking for CDNs. You know, all this kind of information you can now find on the database. So the compare function, I'm going to show you how you use it. You basically click on the plus signs, how many ever you want. There's no restriction on how many, so you can click on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you hit the compare button, and then you get this. So I've compared here our two, just two of the London Internet Exchange points, but two that I know are using APIs, so I've used those because we're looking at the most up-to-date data. So there's a little summary business information about the two internet exchange points that you can see at a snapshot if you just want a quick look at what's going on there. And I think what's interesting, and I'm sorry I'm going to speed up because I've only got 4 minutes left. I think what's interesting is you can actually see which ASNs are common at that exchange point, and even more is which ASNs are unique. So which ASNs are present at links and not at LONAP, which ones are present at LONAP and not at links. And then we have a similar thing for ASNs. Again, you click on the plus signs, you hit compare, and there you have it. So I've picked two of the larger content providers, Akamai and Google. You can now see again here the common ASNs, the common IXPs that they're present at. So these two ASNs are present at 63 IXs, and then we can see which ones are unique to them. So this is where one appears and the other one doesn't. We also show a little bit more information about the network. So in the network details, you can see their ASN and a little summary about them. And then you can see which IXs they're connected to, and there's just a list of IXs that VeriSign connect to. The root server directory basically has information about the root servers that the IXs have on their LAN. We are updating the JSON to include a bit more information, because what's missing here is the root server operating system and the version. So those two items are being added into a new JSON schema, which will then be released soon, hopefully, so that we can start getting all that information as well. Similarly, we have a switch database, and in the switch database, you can find information about switches. So you can see which switches are being used at the various exchange points. So what's next? I've mentioned a new JSON, and that's going to include further information about hardware, so actual switch hardware names, software versions, models, API authentication, because there are some IXs that don't necessarily want to publish all the information. So today, everything is public. A lot of IXs are waiting for us to put in some authentication so that certain information will be presented in an aggregated format, but not individual format. We're also looking at highlighting ASNs not in PeeringDB. So as I'm sure you all know, PeeringDB is a database primarily for networks. So ASNs control that. So not all ASNs that belong to the IX are there, because not every single ASN is on the planet. Is on peering DB, but the IXs will report the full, complete, accurate list of ASNs that are at their Internet Exchange point. I am looking for feedback and would love to hear your thoughts. Like I said, this is just, a lot of the things that I've shown you today actually went live yesterday. So, there's some testing to be done. There is, there's a lot of improvements there, which I've seen myself, which I'm already starting opening tickets for. So there's a lot of things to do, but I just wanted to show you that, we are on this path of, what I've been talking about for the last few years. We have a mailing list for users. There is an API. And if you think this is good work like we do, then support us, contact us, and speak to me. I'm here. Are there any questions? I knew there'd be one from Dave.
Yeah, it wouldn't be me without asking a question, would I?
No.
So, Dave Freeman from Clarinet. I just have perhaps it's a question, perhaps it's a piece of feedback, but looking at the root server page, I can't help thinking that it would be really useful to work with IXPs to scrape some information from the root servers, who's peering with them, how many prefixes, and then that lets people do more of an evaluation if they're thinking about joining the root servers. Now, I know that the IXPs themselves like to publish this information, but if someone's doing some long-term planning, putting this in one place and giving them an aggregated view, I think would be much more useful.
Yeah, I agree. And, one of the reasons that we went with Nick.cz was because they develop Bird, and we're hoping to work closely with root server developers on getting more information that we can share with the community. So, yes, thank you. It's good feedback, and it's definitely something we want to try and do.
Rob from Astutium. Dave wants more data. I'm concerned about the amount of data that's already there. Are you not concerned that putting things like operating systems, versions, switches and things are opening up potential attack vectors for IXPs, for naughty people?
This has been discussed, and no, we don't think. That would be the short answer. But no, we don't. And actually, so I talked about authentication. I talked about some IXPs not wanting to have public data. So some of this data that is today public is actually going to be not so public in the future. And that actually includes switches. So when I say not public, what I mean is that members of Euro-IX and IXPs can have that information, because IXPs seem to be okay about sharing information with each other, but just not publicly. So members of Euro-IX and our patrons will have access to that data, but not the public. But you will see it in an aggregated format, so it's not like we're hiding everything.
Okay, so for a nominal subscription, we still get access to that data.
Yeah. In a certain format, yes.
Are there any other questions for Bijal? I thought I saw a hand come up over here, but no more questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bijal.